Cops don't get to play favorites with pistols, their lives depend on it. But here's the dirty little secret. Half the guns American police were issued over the years, straight up mistakes. Political contracts, budget cuts, or brass chasing trends, while the guys on the street had to make it work. Some of these pistols became legends because they saved lives, others became infamous because they jammed, misfired, or flat out got officers killed. And today, I'm exposing all of it. This isn't your polished best duty guns video. This is the unfiltered list of police sidearms that defined American law enforcement. The good, the bad, and the ones that never should have made it past the chief's desk. Stick around, because the number one pistol on this list, it's so controversial, I guarantee half of you are going to be furious I put it there, and the other half will admit I'm right. Forget Glock? Yeah, I said that too. I've even meant it. Sometimes at least. But this one, the Glock 17 Gen 4, it's the reason we can't fully let go of it. For decades, this pistol defined what a duty gun should be. Simple, reliable, and built to take a beating. It didn't matter if you were patrolling downtown Chicago or chasing signals through a cornfield in Iowa. This thing worked. Departments across America bought it by the truckload. Why? Because it ran. Rain, mud, dust, or worn-out holsters, the Gen 4 just kept going. Now, people love to hate on Gen 4 for its grip texture or say the recoil spring was over-engineered. Some even swear Gen 5 fixed everything, but talk to any vet who carried a Gen 4 for years, they're not trading it for anything newer. I've personally seen these rattle can painted Gen 4s qualify year after year. Slide scratched, internals dirty, but still punching holes on target. Say what you want about Glock, but this one, it earned its place. And in 2025, when the question is, what's still standing? The answer is right here. People still argue about this one. Some say the Sig P226 is the greatest duty pistol ever made. Others? Well, they say it's a dinosaur that should have been retired years ago. But here's the thing. It earned its stripes in blood and sweat. This was the sidearm for the Navy SEALs, SWAT units, and federal agents. You don't get there by being average. I shot my first P226 back in the early 2010s, and I still remember the feel. All metal, serious weight, hammerback, and that crisp DASA trigger. It felt like holding a piece of machinery that meant something. No polymer flex, no sloppy slide, just steel and confidence. But yep, it's heavy. The controls aren't for everyone, and if you try getting a new cop today to carry one, most of them laugh and flash their optics-ready 9mm striker-fired wonder guns. Too bulky, too slow, too old school. Maybe, but the P226 isn't trying to compete with plastic guns. It's playing a totally different game, one built on real-world reliability and precision. A local sheriff I trained with still carries one, says he trusts it more than anything else on his belt. When I asked why, he looked at me and said, "Because it's never lied to me, and that kinda stuck with me." You probably wouldn't expect this, but the LAPD dumped their Glocks for this, the effing 509 MRD-LE. Nearly 10,000 officers now walk the street with this pistol on their side. That alone made me take a second look. I didn't jump on the effing train right away. To be honest, the first time I shot one, it felt kinda stiff. The grip texture was aggressive, maybe too much, but after a couple of range sessions, man, it grew on me. The slide runs smooth, the trigger breaks clean, and once you mount an optic, it's a different beast altogether. No adapter plates, no weird fitment issues, just solid. One of my buddies, who's a trainer in Nevada, told me their department started testing the effing 509s after LE made the switch. He put over 3,000 rounds through one. No cleaning, no oil, and the thing just kept chugging. That sold me more than any spec sheet. Now I won't lie, the holster market's thinner and mags aren't always easy to find, but if a gun can survive LA streets, it can probably survive anything else. If this one surprised you, just you wait. What's sitting at number 3 might actually piss you off. I've shot the 92FS more times than I can count, and I'll say this, mine never jammed, not even once. But I've also seen guys swear it's outdated junk. That's the Beretta for you. It's either loved or left alone. It was the go-to sidearm for American cops back in the day, and not just because it looked cool spinning and lethal weapon. Departments trusted it, military trusted it. 15+1 capacity, smooth double-action trigger, and that all-metal build, it felt like a real duty gun. But here's the thing, it's heavy, like really heavy, especially when you're carrying it for 12 hours straight. And the safety department, not everyone's a fan. Try racking the slide under stress and hitting that decocker by mistake. Ask me how I know, but it worked. For years, LAPD, NYPD, Chicago, Berettas were everywhere. Still, there's something satisfying about that long slide cycling. It runs smooth, soft, almost like it's gliding. And even with all the modern polymer competition, there are departments in the US still issuing the 92FS even today. Say what you will, but it's stuck around for a reason. You don't see many 1911s riding duty belts these days, but the Kimber Custom TLE II? That one's different. I knew an old LEPD guy, SWAT, late 90s, carried a TL2 for over a decade and said it never jammed on him once. Just routine cleaning and it still kept running. He had the same holster for years, wore a print into the leather from reholstering that steel slide every single day. And yep, it's heavy. 7 rounds in the mag, no red dots, no polymer tricks. But you talk to the guys who carried it, they'll tell you it gave them peace of mind. That 45 ACP wasn't about capacity, it was about stopping power. There's just something about that trigger too. Crisp and predictable. You know exactly when it's going off. When it mattered, that confidence made all the difference. Sure, it's not the future of policing, but it's one of those pistols that never pretended to be something it's not. It's old school and proud of it. And even now in 2025, some folks won't carry anything else. Now this one, it didn't make headlines like Glock did, but it sure made its way into more duty holsters than you'd expect. When departments were hunting for something more ergonomic and better shooting, the M&P9 M2.0 showed up strong. Grip texture, aggressive. Trigger, way better than Gen 3 Glocks ever had. And recoil, manageable, even in rapid fire. Some officers I've trained with swear this feels more controllable than a Glock 19. Not everyone agrees, however, but that's where the divide starts. It's always Glock versus M&P, and the truth is, both are still around for a reason. The M&P9 M2.0 might not have Glock's cult following, but it's proven itself in agencies across the US, especially in states that care about shootability as much as reliability. Still, we're not done yet, because number 1 isn't just still used, it's setting a new standard. Don't you tap out now. Here's the thing about the Glock 22. It was never about being flashy or exciting. It was about firepower. Raw, straight line, no nonsense firepower. 40 S&W was the golden boy back in the day. Departments across America, from the FBI to rural sheriffs, were ditching their 9mm and picking up the Glock 22. Why? Because it gave them 15 rounds of 40 in a frame that handled like a 9mm. More punch, same Glock reliability. I'm not a Glock fan, never have been, and honestly, not everyone loved the 22 either. Some said it was too snappy, wore out parts faster, and made quick follow-up shots a chore. Still, it stayed. Even now, after most departments switch back to 9mm, you'll still spot the 22 riding in old duty holsters. It's durable, dead simple, and built like a brick. I've seen Gen 3s that have been through hell still passing quals, frame polished smooth from years of draw strokes, and they just keep going. 40 might not be cool anymore, but ask any veteran cop what really got it done between 95 and 2015, they'll point right here. They didn't build a PDP to win contracts, they built it to rattle the damn table, and it sure as hell did. I still remember a range day. 3 officers, all Glock guys. One from Vegas, one from Tulsa, and the older dude out of Corpus. I handed them the PDP. The Vegas guy dry fired it once and froze. "Damn, that's dangerous," he said. Not flashy praise, just real fear. Tulsa didn't flinch. He hated it. "Trigger's too tight," he said. "This'll get someone sued," and he meant it. That's the PDP for you. You either love it or you don't trust it. It's not middle ground. It's got optics out of the box, adjustable grip modules, serrations that bite, and recoil that feels like someone tuned it by hand. But departments still watching from the sidelines. Why? It's too sharp, too German, and yep, not exactly budget friendly, but the ones who tested it, they're questioning every plastic frame they've ever issued. The PDP didn't whisper its way in. It kicked the damn door off and said, "Let's do it better." And if you hate that, you're still listening. The Springfield XDM Elite? That gun causes arguments at the range every time. Some officers say it's underrated, others say they'd rather carry a high point. It's that polarizing. On paper, yeah, it looks like a duty monster. 20-round capacity, match-grade barrel, flat-face trigger, fiber optic front, and grip safety, but you hand it to someone and suddenly its slide feels clunky, that grip's too damn aggressive, trigger resets long. I've heard it all. And then you get that one guy who shoots the hell out of it and makes everyone else look slow. The thing is, this gun doesn't sit in the middle. You either click with it fast or it fights you. A few departments tried it, some backed out, said it needed too much retraining, said it felt too range-built to trust in real field chaos, but the ones who stuck with it, they shoot it like it's part of their arm. The grip texture is rough, but it anchors you. The controls are huge, maybe too huge, but you won't miss them in gloves. It's not easy and it's not soft, but if it works for you, it works hard. The XDM Elite doesn't care about being loved by everybody. It just needs one officer to run it right, and it proves its point. Most underrated police pistol ever? You want to talk about frustration? Ask any cop who loved the VP9 what happened when their department dropped it. Because here's the truth, this thing was loved. Instructors praised the trigger, patrol officers liked the grip, but the VP9 lost the war to budget cuts. Glock came in cheaper and departments caved. That pissed off a lot of guys. I know a former sheriff's deputy in Pennsylvania told me straight up the VP9 was the only duty pistol I ever trusted out of the box. Smooth, accurate, didn't need tuning. Then they handed him a Gen 5 Glock 17 and said, "Get used to it." The VP9 had what a lot of polymer pistols missed: refinement. It shot like a tuned Sig, but carried like a Glock. Ambi controls, crisp brake, those interchangeable backstraps. On paper, it was the smarter choice. But budget politics, they don't care about paper. Most departments went for good enough instead of great. Even today, you'll find VP9s in the range backs of ex-cops who could have carried anything and still chose this. So yep, maybe it's not the king of patrol anymore, but for the folks who had one and lost it, this thing's a quiet legend. Steel duty guns used to be the law. Big Smith & Wessons, Berettas, old school SIGs, heavy metal that looked like they belonged on a cop's hip. Then the contracts shifted. Chiefs started looking at something lighter, cheaper, and a hell of a lot more controversial. Cops laughed at it. Plastic frame, striker fire, a short trigger that felt like an accident waiting to happen. The old guard swore it'd get officers hurt, and yet department after department signed the paperwork anyway. That's how the Glock 19 muscled its way into nearly every holster in America. Love it or hate it, this was the turning point. Training accidents went up, sure, but so did qualifications because rookies could actually run the thing. Rain, mud, blood, and neglect, it just worked. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't perfect, but it was reliable and cheap, and that's all the brass cared about. The 19 didn't win cops over because it was the best, it won because it was good enough, priced right, and it never quit. And from that point on, every other pistol had to measure itself against it. Long before polymer pistols and double stacks, there was one handgun that cops and crooks alike feared: the Colt 1911. Big, heavy, single-action 45 ACP. The pistol John Browning built to stop fights dead in their tracks. Departments didn't hand them out like candy. Most cops in the 20th century carried revolvers, but the guys who wanted more firepower, detectives, SWAT, highway patrol units, they bought their own 1911s and carried them anyway. Series 70, Series 80, or government models, it didn't matter. If you were packing a 1911, people noticed. But here's the truth. The 1911 was never a perfect police pistol. 7 or 8 rounds in a single stack mag, heavy trigger for rookies who weren't trained on cocked and locked carry, and the weight? After 10 hours on your hip, you felt every ounce of it. Still, it earned respect. Why? Because when it worked like nothing else. The 45 hit hard, the trigger broke like glass, and the pistol became a badge of its own. You weren't just carrying a sidearm, you were carrying history. The Colt 1911 didn't stay in every holster, but it never left police culture. And even today, ask an old-timer which gun he trusted the most, and odds are he'll just grin and tap his 1911. Half of you are pissed right about now, and that's exactly how it should be, because these weren't just police pistols, they were lifelines, mistakes, and sometimes death sentences handed out by departments that should have known better. So argue with me. Tell me which gun I overrated, which one I buried too low, or which pistol you'd never trust with your life again. Because if you're not fired up after this list, you weren't paying attention. I'm Steve, and if you hated this, then good. If you loved it, even better. Either way, I win.